hello. Good morning. Cheers. Let's start off with a good sip of coffee. I got this is actually cold brew. I don't know why I put it in a hot cup, but we're out here. Good morning. I am CrunkChocolate, and welcome to the first episode of the very early morning show. And I just figured I would take this time to have a little fun, get out of the usual box that we do, even though we have a lot of show offerings here at Shades of Blue Network. But this is a good time. Just whatever I decide that I wanted to talk about. Honestly, the topics kind of popped around, but if there's ever anything that you want to me to chat about, please let me know in the comments live. Post. You can follow us, Shades of Blue, the network, that is, on Twitter. Don't know how much longer, but we're also on Blue Sky. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, all those things. Check us out at Shades of Blue NW. What I am most excited about doing with this is I have brought in a couple of friends to cover Bundesliga and Serie A with me. The homie Jake from 50 Plus Donor. He will be coming, making an appearance. It is a segment that will be shown every single week with Jake from 50 Plus Donor and Sal of Curva Mundial. He will be our Serie A Italian expert. But I feel like, where should we start today? Like, obviously, I'm going to eventually get to City, but there's so much to cover. I figured, why not? Let's get to Champions League first, shall we? Wow. Let's look at the games. Like I said, I'll talk about City, but let's start from the top of the list. I mean, honestly, PSV, they kind of need that. I'm very sad about Girona. I'm gonna be honest. I'm very sad about Girona because of the fact that, tied to CFG. This is supposed to be family, and we rated them with Savinho. They have lost Dobrik. They lost a few other players, and they just don't seem to be the same. A wonder year. I know it's kind of difficult because no one really expected them to do what they were doing in the first place, but I don't know. It's bumming me out. It's been exciting, but I think it's over for them. What I wanted to focus on real quick is this highlighted Celtic 3 versus Leipzig 1. I know that score line will shock people. I mean, we can click the match a little bit. Kuhn with 2 goals at the end of the first half, and then Hatate. I was at, allergies. No one needed to see that, and I wasn't going to allow you to, clip that. Goodness gracious. Allergies, woo. So I was in North Carolina this summer to see the Manchester City. They did a U.S. tour. I was in North Carolina and New York. I was able to see Celtic. And they, with Brendan Rodgers, I believe, is their manager still. Great guy. He said hi to everybody, even the City fans. Wow, I guess this is just going to be a thing. Allergies. Wow, early morning. Get it together. Good thing about live, it's all me. There's no going anywhere else. But they were balling out. They kicked City's tail in this match. Hold on, I might need to go blow my nose. This is crazy. Wow. Okay. Yeah, in the preseason match, and they balled out. They attacked wide with the wingers. They are very aggressive and not afraid at all to come at you, run at you, take you on. They'll do 25 duels if they have to, if that means that they can win the one that allows them to get the goal. Very short memory when it comes to defense and messing up and making mistakes. And that's kind of key in all great teams. Liverpool. How can they keep doing this? It's frustrating. I'm angry. Klopp left. They were falling apart. They bring in this guy, Arne Slot. He's not serious, right? He's not. Where'd he come from? I wasn't worried at all. I was like, all right, cool. This is easy. All we got to do is deal with Arsenal. Now Arne Slot just has some handling business. I know Arsenal. People talk about how Arsenal have the best defense in the league. You look at numbers. You look at statistics in the Premier League. Who has the best goals allowed? It's Liverpool. And it's by a very decent margin at that. They just play their football, no frills. I mean, they have dynamic players, so there's frills. I don't want to say they're like Bournemouth, just trying to win every aerial and ground duel and just scoring scrappy ass goals like that. I'm not trying to say anything to that. And also, shout out to Brentford. I'm not trying to hate at them. They give us a lot of trouble over at the City, so no hate, love, no trying to throw any jinxes their way. But keeping it moving, because I don't want to stay on that happiness for too long, or that upsets me, and I want to get to happiness. I want to laugh at Real Madrid, and we're actually going to focus on them for a little bit before we hop over and laugh a little at Arsenal, and then maybe I'll do a quick detour about Manchester City, because I live in the citydom. So like how sad and miserable do I want to be in that with this for the first episode of Very Early Morning Show? This is a joyous occasion. I'm hopped up on caffeine. Why do I want to be miserable talking about our just old and unathletic midfield? That's really the problem. It just goes down to that. So I'm just like, what more can we really say? So now we're at Real Madrid. Of course, Vinny Jr., you got the pen, but 3 goals from Milan. Thiago, sneaky good center back. I enjoy him. Center back, yes. And then Morata and Reinders. It's Christmas season. Complete diversion. Obviously, you can answer now if you're watching people watching post, because again it's 6:10 a.m. But for people listening post, are you going straight to Christmas? Are you a straight to Christmas person, or are you not here for the Thanksgiving erasure? Because as I agree with it, we know it's the food and the family is the best part of Thanksgiving. So like, are we ignoring Thanksgiving? Are we trying to erase Thanksgiving? Or is it because it's the holiday we don't really care about? But the sports, the food, the family, it's beautiful. It's great. I love it. I'm here for it. Everything else, that's honestly, if we keep it at 100. But yes, what I wanted to pivot to from here is an article that was going around, and everybody could have already saw it coming. It's not really a shock. Kylian Mbappe unhappy with Real Madrid's playing style. And he just moved to Real Madrid. Forgot to hit send on a post. Oh my goodness. But yeah, what did you really expect? I don't feel bad for this Real Madrid team that has so many amazing players. If we're being honest, like, I don't like being nice, to Real Madrid because the Real Madrid, they have a legion of fans and supporters. Like, what do you need me for? And the fact that he joined them off with a free, I know he's being paid $1 trillion a week, but it's kind of annoying. If you look at this team, it's just absurd, just an embarrassment of riches. Fucking Brahim Diaz, you're welcome. CFG, homie. I never made it. But Endrick, Rodrigo, Mbappe, Vinny Jr., that's their forwards. Fucking midfield. Man, Camavinga, Valverde, Chouameni, they still have Arda Güler trying to figure some things out. And then it's rumored all the other people that they're trying to fucking add on. Alphonso Davies, he could actually be a good because, Carvajal's leaving. But just the up top between Vinny Jr., Kylian Mbappe, like what Brady, I was like, I just want to say Rodrigo first because I'm a big fan of Rodrigo. Rodrigo, if you want to come over to Manchester City, we can do that because you got Endrick trying to take your area, your space. Brahim, you can stay at Real. I don't want you back, my boy. You're a midfielder anyway. I wouldn't want you on the wide. But this article, it's just a beautiful thing because he just talks about, well, and it's just like, who are they getting this information from? But the thing is, he has a giant entourage. It could be his agent, it could be his family. But yeah, and Carlos Ancelotti reportedly singling him out as a major factor in the slump. That's fantastic. That he is not a fan of Real Madrid's playing style, that he's unhappy with his current system. At PSG, the team and system were built around him. Kylian Mbappe, did you really think that you were going to go to Real Madrid and they were going to, for some reason, make it all about you? Hold on. I'm going to get this because I'm not pushing Gladiator 2, even though shout out to Denzel Washington. I'm going to go see that for you. But Kylian. Are we being honest here? Are we being true with ourselves? We got Vinny Jr. throwing his temper tantrum because of the Ballon d'Or. I don't know. It's just so. Carlo, Encho, do you really want to deal with this locker room? Modric, he's gonna be gone soon. Carvajal's gonna be gone soon. Do you really want to just be dealing with a bunch of kids? Is that something you want to do? Does that sound like a good time? I don't know, my guy. You might need to run because it's our times. Let's get back to the Champions League, though, shall we? Because I really, other than Liverpool, which, again, shout out to them for representing the Premier League well, because Aston Villa lost to Club Brugge. Like, bro, what are you doing losing to Club Brugge? What? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. They've been very inconsistent. I know Unai has a very particular way of playing and a mindset. I'm not quite sure if there's like a disconnect somewhere. I'm a big fan of Unai, and I know everybody tries to use his time at Real Madrid to kind of drag him through the mud, but I do think, I mean, who was going to be able to do anything there? If we're being honest, at that moment, that Arsenal were just in a very dark spot. So hopefully they can bounce back. But enter Arsenal, who didn't lose to Inter? Who? Huh? Speak it up. You got to talk a little bit louder because I got to hear through these headphones, Yes, we beat them in Champions League, and we drew them this first match of the Champions League. Though, what can you expect? And honestly, if the first match was potentially going to be the best we were going to get, we started flying. And then you know what happened to us. We got smacked by Sporting, which I will get to next because I do actually have some words. I thought I wasn't going to have some words on it, but I'm feeling inspired just because of how people kind of made Amarin the how they think he's going to bring that energy to United. And I got to say, not so fast, buddy. I just kicked myself out of my own stream. Oh my gosh. Get it together, Crunk. Hold on. Where was I? Where was I? Where was I? Oh my gosh. Too many tabs. Too many tabs. Yes, we were talking about Inter versus Arsenal. Sorry, people. Thank you for staying with me. Wow. First episode, fun vibes. Okay, so I actually didn't see the play that drew the penalty, so I'm not quite sure if it was legit or not, and I don't want to play it because I know the vibes. Not trying to get my first stream shut down in the middle of it. They're really struggling with scoring goals, and it's kind of wild to see considering when he first got to Arsenal, that was their thing. It was goals, 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 goals. Watch us score all these goals, and now it's just nada. He's so focused on the defense. I know there's injuries. We got them too. Everybody has them. We're all playing the same schedule. We're all playing all of these matches. Really, what can anyone do? You can't hold them down on that. So, yeah, sucks for y'all. Okay. I don't have anything else on Kylian Mbappe. I am interested in your thoughts though. When you obviously the idea of Kylian Mbappe at Real Madrid. How could it not work, right? It's Real Madrid. It's Kylian Mbappe. Success, success, success. It's too much. We've seen it go burst with the Galacticos. And, David Beckham struggling to get on that side with all the players that were on that. You even see it when, like, Mbappe is on the pitch with Vinny Jr. They have, like, a good 1-2 moment, but one has to lead, the other has to follow, and they're not quite sure when to do those things. Chelsea, shout out to Chelsea, who beat down on a team FC Noah Yerevan from the Armenian Premier League. I mean, 8-0, that's impressive just off the score alone, scoring 6 goals in the first half. Super impressive. But what I wanted to look at was the differences between these, like the typical thing that everybody always does, the wages. Let's look at the gap, because you see here, shout out to Transfer Market, 963.2 million. Hold on. Yes, euros. There we go. Good morning, America. I was like, euros, pounds, it's always messing me up. But 963 million, we know the spending that goes on at Chelsea. We see what they're doing. It's a whole like collectibles type of thing. Purchase it, hold on to a little bit. Maybe you can get return of investment and a few of them, and hopefully, you don't crash out or fail miserably in getting there. They're playing really good. Enzo Maresca seems to have the players playing with confidence and know where to go, know what to do. He has Nicholas Jackson and Mudryk. They're balling out, even though I'm actually on team give them some time. I don't think people have been very tough on them. And it's always fair because don't get me wrong, this is banter in football, but I don't know. You can see the beauty in the in moments, even if it's just like have a second, just the way that he'll run at someone and make a little cut, and naturally he'll try to shoot. The ball does crazy things, but also if he just keeps it simple, he can get up in the air, smash down a header. He's scored some crazy volleys. We have seen the quality and the technique in him. He just seems to be not the brightest, but I mean, he's on team with Cole Palmer. There's vibes there. They know football. Leave him alone about anything else. Like, what do you care about? Why? What else? But so damn near a Billy squad worth value. And if we look at, oh my gosh, this is gonna look like I'm hating, but I'm not. I mean this in the nicest way on Chelsea. Wow, hold on, there we go. Scroll up. 7.76 million. That's crazy. What? Let's see. Hold on. The best paid player on this squad, Chelsea, is it Cole? Okay, shout out to Cole. Making about 90 million a year. Of course, this is in euros. 90 million. Hold on. What is the team's worth? 7 million? Who's the Renato Viega, the 21-year-old center back who is currently on loan at FC Basel. He makes $8 million a year. Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, there are a few players that are making around how much the entire cost of a team in Armenian. And shout out to FC Noah Yerevan. That's a cool little logo. It kind of feels like, is that like Transformers? I don't know, it just feels familiar. But I like the 3D version of it. I don't know. FC Noah Yerevan. It sounds like a team that a guy made and they just all of a sudden started finding a little bit of success. And now all of a sudden, look at you. You're in the Champions League. Okay, this sounds like a nice, this feels like a nice little break to a good time to bring up our first segment of the episode. And then we'll come back and talk a little bit of WSL before we end with the final segment of the show. So I present to you for the first time. Oh man, getting chills just thinking about it. Hold on. Welcome to Serie A Amici with Sal. Oh, hello, and welcome to Serie Amici of Shades of Blue. This is all of this is new, but what this is in particular is I am bringing my good friend Sal over here, and his love for Serie A is just amazing, and I could easily make up nonsense for you every week about the games in Serie A and why you should watch. Or I can be a bigger person and be like, hey friend, you're better at this.
Oh, thanks.
It's true. It's more of your focus, and
it is
the people, the best product I can give them. And here you are. So Sal, will be here with us, helping us, leading us, pointing us in the right direction, all things Serie A. So let's get into it. This most dope human, if you don't know him, check out Curva Mundial Pod. And that's all. Like, and if you haven't, you better.
You better. I've had some amazing guests, including Crunk here. So, but for starters, benvenuti a tutti. Ciao. Welcome to City Amici of Shades of Blue, and I'm happy to present to you a little outlook on what's going to be happening in Serie A this week, which means you should be turning in and watching, because this league, this season, at this moment in time, if a team sneezes hard enough, the entire table changes. It is exhilarating. Yes, you've got your Premier League with all the money and all the players and Erling Haaland this and Grealish that and United troubles here and Chelsea chaos there. You've got all of that. But remember something. People love the opera, right? And what do we Italians do the best? We fucking invented the opera. So of course, at this moment in time, the most chaos you will see in all of European football, in the majors leagues, I should say, is happening right now in Serie A. Because I'm not an expert in Turkish league, but there's chaos there. I'm not an expert in the Greek league, but there's chaos there. But right now in Serie A, it is a hang on one second. I had it off the top of my head. I'm second guessing myself. It's a 1-point game off the top between Napoli and Inter. Napoli at the top of the table. But between positions 3 and 5, it is tied at 22 points each, with Atalanta, Fiorentina, and Lazio rounding out top 5. Juventus at 21 and Milan coming in at 7th place with 17 points. That's how tight it is. It's anyone's game at this point. 2 weeks ago, all of us were saying, oh, Napoli's got this in the bag. Antonio Conte is playing football once a week. That's his specialty. Big Rom is back under his wing. Lukaku scoring like a gajillion goals. They're going to run away with it. And then this weekend happens. And guess what? They lose 3-0 to Atalanta. So here we are, bringing you the first episode of City Amici. So that's my intro and a roundabout as to what you may have missed this weekend. So, but this week coming up, huge clashes, and it's going to be like this, I feel, from here on out, because every game is going to count. Every game is going to have title implications. The first major game that'll be happening this weekend is the Derby della Mole, the infamous Torino Derby. Juventus and Torino, each club right now looking to really like capitalize on who is the best in the city. Of course, Juventus, the most famous team there, but Torino, historic, phenomenal. But right now kind of having a little lackluster of a season, but they can turn it around. They're such a weird team. They're sort of kind of, I guess the best way to put it in like EPL terms, they're kind of like Fulham, who we just watched today, score a 2-1 against. I just watched it. I can't think who it was. It was Fulham against not Ipswich, but another team. I can't remember what it was. But Fulham wins in the dying embers of the game. That essentially is what Torino is like. The player to watch there is the aging wonder Duvan Zapata, the Colombian forward, has just been a revelation in Serie A, leaving Atalanta, going elsewhere, and then finally at Torino, and just doing very well. And of course, Juventus this season started off like a damn prize fighter, just coming out right out the gate, scaring everybody, thinking, oh my God, like they're back, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And the last few weeks, they've stumbled a little bit, but they're sharks. That team is a bunch of sharks, and they're tasting blood in the water, and I would fear anybody right now playing them. Doesn't matter what league you're in. So this Derby della Mole, if you're going to watch a match this weekend, that's the one to definitely check out. And the star player there for Juventus, of course, is their phenomenal goalkeeper, because of course they have like amazing goalkeeping. The heir to, they went from Buffon to Wojciech Szczesny, and now their current goalkeeper is Di Gregorio, who is just an absolute revelation. Unbelievable player that I know most people won't give like the shine to goalkeeping and goalkeepers because of the fact that they're just hanging out in between two sticks, but he's the one that's going to make or break the team. And they're doing very well under Thiago Motta's chaos ball, if you will, but they have been slipping up, but that doesn't mean that they are going to continue on that path. I think those rights will definitely be wronged. Those wrongs will definitely be right, rather, in the coming weeks, especially starting with this game. So there's definitely one right off the bat for sure.
Mm, okay. And then how did you say that? Derby de Molloy?
It's the Turin Derby in English, but it's named after Mole Antonella, who is a major landmark. It's a major landmark and structural symbol in the city. Piedemonte, which is the capital of the region that they're in, both teams play there, so it's a big structure in the area. So it's a tribute to a structure, like in Italy, like in Milan, when Inter and AC Milan play each other. It's Derby della Madonnina. It's the Madonnina that sits on top of the Duomo. It's in tribute to her.
Love
So
that. Okay. Well, how do you think this match is going to go? Who's going to win?
look, I would like to say that Torino pulls off the upset. I really do. But it's going to be rough because, again, like they're such an unpredictable side. But I do feel that Juventus will win 2-1. Torino will definitely score. This won't be a blowout. You might see some red cards. You're going to see some passionate tifosi, the fans, if you will, in the audience. Both curvas, the ends of the stadium will be probably lit on fire. But it is intense, and the Torino fans, they might not be as loud as the Juve supporters, but they are just as passionate. So it's definitely going to be one thrilling event for sure.
Let's go. Okay. Well, let's keep it moving to the other match that will be happening on Saturday. Cagliari versus Milan.
Yeah, so I'm not excited about this one. And as you see, I'm wearing a Rossonero hat, which is my AC Milan. Yeah, I'm not excited about this one. If there was one to skip, it might be this one. So Cagliari, team out of Sardinia, historically has been a yo-yo side, bouncing back between Serie B and Serie A. They're back in Serie A this season, not doing great, but also they could be the team that the game against Milan might be the one that like suddenly like, oh my god, they put five past us, and suddenly they look like they're monsters and can actually like drive up the table. I'm not excited by this one. I'm really not. I know you put it on there because it's Milan, my club, and it's they're a big team, but we're playing like dog turds these days. It's not good. It's not good. There's a lot of issues going on behind the scenes at AC Milan. Paulo Fonseca, the Portuguese manager, keeps trying to. He's the meme where the dog in the room of fire that's just like everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine, and the players are actually coming out and being like, we don't know what's going on, like we don't know what we're doing, like we don't know what's happening.
Oh,
He's been benching Rafael Leao to kind of try and teach Leao a lesson, which I'm happy about. If you've heard me on Shades of
we
Blue in the
know it.
past, you know my gripes on Leao. I'm not going to waste any more time on it. I'm very happy someone is teaching the child how to be an adult. But the issue is, I don't know if we're suffering for it or not. The thing is like when he's coming on, he looks like he doesn't want to be there. So allegedly, Leao's told his handlers force a move for me in January. Barcelona's very interested, so we'll see what happens there. If Barcelona can afford him, let's also see what happens. Hey, Barca, give us Lewandowski. You can have Leao. Even call. I will take it. The player to watch, obviously, in this match will be Christian Pulisic. And I'm not just saying that because I love the kid, but he really has been amazing. Other player to watch, of course, is Reinders in the midfield, who has just been an absolute revelation since he's come to Milan. The defensive line at Milan needs a lot of help, needs a lot of work, still can't figure out their own systems, which has been an ongoing issue the last 2 or 3 seasons, but for some reason it's it's sometimes good and sometimes pretty terrible. I don't know how to call this one. I really don't. I think it could be a blowout with Cagliari winning on the blowout end, or it might just be a draw. I don't really. It's hard for me to say on this one. If Milan wins, it ends up being a 1-0 victory, and that's it. Like I just can't put much hope in them scoring a lot of goals. Alvaro Morata is leading the line and has been symbolic of the dog turds of the rest of the team. So, it's there's that. And then of course this weekend we have Inter and Napoli also. Now, also if you're gonna watch another game aside from Derby della Mole, this
Yes.
is actually the match of the weekend. I forgot that this match was happening. I'm sorry. But so it's North versus South. It's everything. It's everything that you want. It's again, it's rich versus poor. It is the current league leaders versus the current Scudetto winners. It's all the drama. It is. I feel like I'm that SNL character Stefan on oh, you need to go to this club. But that's what it feels like at this point. Like it's going to have a hell of an atmosphere. I know that Torino Derby is happening. That is definitely the match to watch. This is actually just as important and also going to be just as lively. The players to watch, of course, here are going to be your strikers, your Romelu Lukaku at Napoli, and who's playing his former team for the first time since being a Napoli player. He played them last year when he was at Roma. Didn't do much. But with Conte, and this is Conte's return to playing his former team that he won a Scudetto with. So there's a lot. There's so many storylines happening. Also, Zielinski, who went from Napoli, who was instrumental in them getting a Scudetto. He went as a free agent to Inter this summer and has been doing very well. So this is his first time squaring off against his former team. So there's so many different storylines here, which is going to make it electric, but also going to make it something that could decide, is Napoli going to continue on the path where like, okay, they lost to Atalanta. Now that was just a blip and they could pick it up again. Or is this like Inter's chance to like go 1 point ahead of Napoli at this point and kind of like keep this battle going, because if Napoli wins, they go 4 points ahead of Inter. And if Inter wins, they go 1 point ahead of Napoli. Again, making this drama, again, the opera.
Yes.
Still singing, still epic. But of course, the players to watch at Inter, it's going to be a battle of the strikers. As I said, Big Rom versus his former sidekick, Lautaro Martinez at Inter. But really, it's all going to be in defensive, and all the midfield's going to dictate everything. And Inter has the edge here, I feel, on that with Barella, and of course, I think the best left back in the world, who took the title from Matteo Hernandez, Federico De Marco. So, and De Marco is like the warrior that you want going into big games, and this is a big game. And for this weekend in Serie A, again, Torino Derby, huge. But this match has got title implications on the line, could dictate the rest of the season, could dictate what we see. And it's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be also two masterminds off the field as the managers playing an actual physical chess match. It's going to be physical. There's going to be red cards. It's going to be a hard one to call. I'm actually going to go. I'm going to be fucking boring with this one. I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. Because I can't call it. I can't see, because I do feel that Napoli will probably go out, take a lead early, and then Inter bounces back. Because Inter, the last few matches, have been winning in the dying embers of a match. So that we could be seeing that again. I wouldn't be surprised. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I also have been wrong many times in the past. So let's see.
No worries. It's I appreciate you for your time. And honestly, I'm very much looking forward to being able to tap in with you every single week and just talk a little bit of Serie A with my amici. It's gonna be a great time.
Thank you very much. I talk fast. I stutter. So if anybody has any questions for me, hit me up on Twitter. Curva Mondial Pod. Also listen to Curva Mondial. But of course, my good friend here, Crunk. That's your guy. That's your guy. But yeah, this is, if you're gonna watch City Off, this is the weekend to start. A lot of good, tasty games.
Okay. Let's get back to the show. Wow! Thanks again to Sal for a Serie A Amici segment. For people who are Serie A fans, who are you a fan of? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Post if you're not watching this live. Send us on social media at Shades of Blue and W. Let us know what Serie A club you're watching. If you watch any of these matches that Sal discussed with me, let me know your thoughts. This is a growing community, you know. Let's chat. Let's build some things. Wanted to hop over to the Woso side. I've been talking about a lot of men's, but there was an article that came out yesterday, 2 days ago, that I just really wanted to share. I think is pretty cool. We'll go to the top just for the sake of it. All WSL and championship matches will be played at the main stadiums for the first time. Basically, for the men's side of each club, their largest available club, each club will play for it. It will be November 16th and 17th. I'll get down to all these clubs so people can look at it at their leisure. But teams like Arsenal, they tend to play at the Emirates often. I want to say I think they're doing like 8, 9, 10 matches there this season. And Manchester City women, they play at the Etihad today, later. So that's exciting. That is the easiest way to make it feel like a grand situation. What I will say is, Man City, not every team loves playing in their men's side stadium. Some people appreciate how nice and small and intimate it feels, because when you get to these bigger stadiums, especially if you don't sell the tickets, then you just have all of this open space, and it can lead to a nasty conversation, honestly. Just, people always wanting to talk shit and send their jabs. Just gives the chance and opportunity for that. But we're not doing that here. We're showing out some love. So Brighton will welcome West Ham United to the American Express Stadium. Brighton should win. Tottenham Hotspur will be playing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, welcoming Arsenal. That is going to be a really fun match because it's a London derby, North London derby in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for these women. It's going to be super exciting. It's going to be really fun. And I really do appreciate that it's before Chelsea versus Man City. I will be able to take my time. That's actually what I love most about these games is obviously the championship matches. Those kind of stack on top of each other. But at least the WSL matches, they are giving them their own time slots to be able to, I'd assume every match will be available to watch on television, because that you have to do a complete if you're going to make a push to grow the women's sport, and you're going to put all the matches in the men's stadium, in the best stadium available, hopefully the media does all of the things needed to kind of make this situation feel as grand as it needs to be. Chelsea versus Man City. I've just been putting this match out of my brain. I'll deal with it when we get here. We're now 2 weeks away. It's next week. I wasn't even really thinking about it. That is next week. Whoa, because the Chelsea women's side, man, we know how they are in their success. I definitely thought, with Emma Hayes leading, Sonia, we know, talented person, manager, but with the change in Chelsea, you were kind of hoping you're going to be able to take advantage of it. City women still handling things, unbeaten in the league. This will be a very important match. Yeesh. And then Sunday, Aston Villa will welcome Crystal Palace to Villa Park. Leicester City, which I believe the Leicester City women team, they play at King Power Stadium. Anyway, and then Manchester United, they'll be welcoming Manchester United. Manchester United, they are ahead of schedule when it comes to finding success, which is really cool. And I'm low-key happy for them. Yeah. And then Everton, Liverpool, again, another big derby at Goodison Park. That vibe's going to be good. Liverpool, they're such a good squad. Like, we knew they were good last year. They made all the right moves. They're bringing in some of the right players. I hate it. Durham City played them last year. Took a player or two from Durham, so shout out to them against London City Lioness. Lots of money has gone into London City recently. I'm sure they wish that match was at their stadium, but it's going to be really good for Durham. Sheffield United versus Sunderland. Newcastle United versus Southampton. Oh, man, Demi Stokes. She left City and went to Newcastle United this season. Hope this match is available on YouTube. Okay, it's at 2. So, yeah, it won't get in the way of Chelsea Man City. Yeah. Hopefully Demi gets a start. If she gets a start, I'll be locked into that match as well. Charlton Athletic versus Bristol City and Blackburn Rovers versus Portsmouth. I just wanted to give some love, a shout out to the situation because, again, it's really cool. It's really exciting. Anybody you know who's a fan of the women's sport, see if they know. There will be tons of tickets available. I know, depending on how many tickets you sell, that's how much security and things that you need. You obviously want to try to fill the stadium up with as many people as possible. You never want it to be half full type of vibe. So if you can, push others to buy a ticket. Buy a ticket for somebody out there. You know, it'd be a good time, good vibes. All right. Well, we will end this stream with our last segment. We're going to get into some Bundesliga. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to Beeflam. He's not in the segment, but shout out to them too. 50 plus donor, doing their thing out there. Wonderful, hilarious, fun Bundesliga, German football. Because I don't want to say Bundesliga because I cover 2 Bundesliga and Bundesliga Freund. And so just overall amazing German football minds. So this segment I present to you for the first time is Bundesliga Freund with Jake. Hold on. Hello and welcome to Bundesliga Freund with my Freund. He is Jake from 50 Plus Donor, a brilliant individual, a light in the world of darkness. He is going to help us learn a little bit more about Bundesliga here at the very early morning show. We have a few games that we're going to look at, and his just brilliance. You're going to feel it. You're going to see it, and I'm looking forward to, building this nice little, being able to kick it with you a little bit. Obviously, you have your live streams, and then we have ours. But this is personal. This is you and me time. This is nice. I'm getting a little bit of Jakey. It's nice.
Well, I want some crunk me time.
Oh man, let's go. So, the first match I want to start off with. I know it's pretty one-sided, but I will be drinking a beer. So shout out to St. Pauli, who is welcoming Bayern to their stadion, and it's going. Please tell us a little bit about both clubs. All I know about St. Pauli is the beer. So to see that there's a football club there too is just like, yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't think Bayern needs any introduction, but St. Pauli, They've been in the first league a few times before. You've probably heard of them, even though you've never probably seen them. I think a lot of the quote unquote hipsters in the U.S. try to take St. Pauli's like very liberal identity and like they're famous for like their home atmosphere and stuff. So they're a pretty influential club in terms of culture. But in terms of the soccer, it's not very good, especially not this season. They haven't won at home yet, which when you're welcoming Bayern, not a good streak to have to go in with Bayern. But hey, I mean, the home energy might push them a little bit. You never know, right? Any given whatever day,
Hey,
Saturday.
people have been struck by lightning twice.
Yeah, you never know. But it's not looking likely. So.
Okay, well, I mean, who is, I mean, with a team like Bayern, there are plenty of players you can just ramble off, and I don't care about Harry Kane. I know he is starting to ball out, but who
That sounds like some leftover hatred, but okay.
leftover? It's still there, man. It's
Okay, excusez-moi.
yes, you're correct. I'm not hiding hurricane. But who else on this Bayern team? And is there anybody on St. Pauli that you're like, okay, there's a baller there?
So, ironically enough, even though they're obviously not doing too well in the league, their goalkeeper, and I'm going to mess up this name, um, Valish, he is a stud. The goals that he can save, he will save. So, they're gonna like Bayern's obviously a scoring force in the league right now. They've scored an unbelievable amount of goals these first few games here, but he's gonna make them work a little bit for their food. And then of course Jackson Irvine, if you know anything about Spike the Bundesliga, Jackson Irvine's a big name. He's their captain. He's St. Pauli through and through. He puts in a good effort, and just like the team in general puts in a very good effort. Like I don't think they're bad because they're not trying. They do put in a bunch of effort, and they are going to give Bayern something. But I mean, it's going to be. They haven't even scored at home yet, so they've got a lot going against them just in terms of streaks. And then obviously Bayern's just a tough draw to play against. So they're going to need a lot if they're going to even get a point out of this.
Okay. Yeah, and obviously anything is possible. That is the brilliance in football. What I will say is I've watched a couple of Bayern games only because of company. It's truly one of the most painful things that I have to experience as a football fan because he's just putting me through misery. First being at Burnley and all the nonsense that has existed with Burnley, and then he goes over to Bayern. It's just like you're at two clubs that I never want to see happy, but I want to see you happy. Oh, it's just this weird feelings that I have to have.
And he is shining, man. Like I mean, he's had a few rough and tumbles, but I think when you look at no offense to Dortmund, but I think when you look at Dortmund, who are in a very similar situation in terms of having a coach, kind of their first big job, and you see them kind of go in two different directions. Of course, the talent's a lot different, but like I mean, he was coaching Burnley, right? And outside of a few hiccups, like Bayern looks good. So I think it's good for him in that sense. I don't think they're gonna like fire him or anything, which I was very nervous about to start the season. He's doing a good job. You gotta give him that.
All right, you will keep it moving to RB Leipzig versus Mönchengladbach. Uh, honestly, I'm hoping Mönchengladbach beat Leipzig. I appreciate them because we got Vardiol from them, and that's about it. But I don't know. For some reason, when we get tied to them, for reasons, and I don't like that, especially because it, yes, Man City, they're a marketing machine. Money has been put into them, et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like the way that Leipzig goes at it, it's a completely different energy. It's like almost like shameless, and I don't like that. respectfully.
I'm gonna say no comment. But I will also tie you further to Red Bull. Remember, Holland guys start at RB Salzburg.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, he was at Leipzig. I also didn't do a prediction for Bayern St. Pauli. I'm going to say 2-0 Bayern.
Oh, only two. That's okay.
I mean, well, they've got Champions League in between then, so it's not going to be like a fresh. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be completely fresh.
No, that's
But yeah, but so Leipzig and Gladbach. Originally, when you told me about this being a matchup, I was like, this is not going to be very close. But then Leipzig had their first loss against Dortmund. They looked really bad in that. Well, not really bad, but like they didn't look like the team that is fighting for first that was previously before then. And now Gladbach's on a pretty good little point streak here. They've had 3 games without a loss. In fact, 2 of them being wins. I've suddenly shifted my tone about this game. You have Kevin Stoger, who was from Bochum last year. I mean, anyone who's watched German football knows Kevin Stoger's name. He is like one of those extremely unsung players who like you would never know is incredible talent if you didn't watch the league as deep as us Bundesliga fans do. And then obviously Tim Kleindienst, who is a national team player. He was really hot with Heidenheim, like when they're in the second league and even last year. And now he's starting to score goals for them too. Um, the I always said Gladbach has always had too much talent to be bad. Sione was one of the teams that tanked Leverkusen, but he's starting to you're starting to see like his kind of working now. So it's an interesting time for Leipzig to need to bounce back now, especially because they've got what Celtic in between this and Gladbach, so they're already having to think about their league form. Like, it's starting to get that, like, if Bayern gets going, then 1 or 2 losses are what takes you out of it. They're going to have to go into this with a full head of steam. And Gladbach's hot right now. So I think this is one of the hardest. It suddenly turned from like a one where I'm like, don't even watch this to like, this is now suddenly one of the hardest to predict games I think of the weekend. So.
oh well. I mean, but I have you predicting for it though. So
I know. You could have given me another 2 weeks there. With like, Gladbach's really not good away. So I'm gonna do 50 plus donor score on. I'm gonna say 2-1 Leipzig.
okay. Is that the like classic scoreline? It's just 2-1.
We usually guess that because for some reason it always ends up being 2-1. It's like hardly ever 0-0, and we at 50 plus donor are men of commitment, so we don't do draws.
Hey, ooh, that's not morning material. I would have cut it out anyway. I was about to while out. We're recording at night.
Yeah, you can't wow that at 5 in the morning. Come on, man.
I'm going to be playing something that will be very in the morning. So, keep it fun and light. Okay. Well, the final match that we will talk about, Stuttgart versus Frankfurt. What do you know about these two clubs?
Well, Stuttgart is just one of those teams that can be good, and I'm not sure what's going on with them, right? Like when you look at their results here, they got a draw against Leverkusen, which, I mean, even though Leverkusen's not obviously on the same path as they were last year, they're still an incredibly talented team. They're basically the same team as last year, holding them to a draw. But then you have them getting blown out by Bayern Munich. Then you have them drawing Hoffenheim, who was at the time 16th, and they're looking like one of the worst teams in the league. Wolfsburg, they also drew. Like it's a team that's like struggling to find form, really. Whereas Frankfurt is not that team. Frankfurt is not struggling to find anything right now. They're 2 losses where I think first games of the season are always hard, right? Like if you lose that, like it's your first competitive game outside of a Pokal, so it's kind of hard to predict. So they lost 2-0 to Dortmund. And then the only other loss since was the 2-1 against Leverkusen. And I mean, that boy Omar Marmouche is hot. That boy is working right now. In fact, there was a graphic I saw of like people. Um, this is how under the radar he's somehow flying. I think, is leading the league in goals right now. But I saw a graphic where it like said the um, top scores in each league, and Harry Kane was still on it. I think he's got 2 more goals than Harry Kane right now. So and he's not even the only person on Frankfurt. I could talk about the Frankfurt team for decades, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But Frankfurt's just flying right now. They look like an absolutely incredible team. Incredible for Dino Topmuller, who is their head coach, is his 2nd year, and he has them looking really, really good. So, I mean, Stuttgart's going to have to. This is more reliant on how Stuttgart comes out than Frankfurt comes out, because I know Frankfurt's going to come out ready to ball. Stuttgart needs to dig deep and like know the team that we all know they are. That's very talented. So, if they show up like they have in the past few games, like kind of flat and like with the Leverkusen game, they had like I don't even think they had a shot on goal. If they come out like that, they're going to get busted out the gym. But if the Stuttgart that I know can come out, they can at least get a draw or maybe win by a goal. But uh, it really Frankfurt's just not a team you want to play right now.
Well, there you have it, folks. From the brilliant man, I told you, brilliant. Passion. I love the way he sees the game. He doesn't take compliments well, so I make sure I just heave it on thick. All right, let's get back to the show. Yo, thank you again, Jake from 50 Plus Donor, for our segment Bundesliga Freund. Oh, what a show! What a show for the first very early morning show. Stay tuned for more of these. I'm thinking Mondays, Fridays. We'll see how things go. Until then, I'll see you soon. You know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.